This question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you did not do what? You did not understand the question, or you were not able to
Yes,
approach
sir. I
it?
did not
Started.
understand.
Okay. You understand these two now? Tell me. Yes or no? The reactions. Can you see? Can you see any difference there? Tell me. Do you see any difference in the reactions? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the difference?
One is solid, another is gas.
True. One is solid, another is gas. Okay. Fine. So now here we have the same things, right? In the product side, correct? In the product, there is no difference. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whatever the difference will be, it will be in see delta H we had, no? Delta H of reaction. Okay, delta H of reaction. It is equal to what? Tell me. We can talk about this in terms of formation also. Yes or no? In terms of the enthalpy of formation of products and reactants, and we can also talk in terms of the bond enthalpy. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us see what would have happened if I go from carbon diamond. So carbon just solid. First of all, it will get converted into what? It will get converted into carbon, that is gas, no? Because we have in the product we will have gas. Okay. Similarly, the 2H2, it will get converted into 4 hydrogens, and then these two will be added and they will be forming CH4 gas. In terms of energy, if I talk, something like this should have happened.
Yes,
Yes
sir.
or no? In terms of energy, okay, not in terms of the reality of the reaction, but if I look at the individual molecules, then obviously the carbon solid, whatever intermolecular force is there, it should have been broken, then only it will be getting converted into gas. Okay. Now, what can you infer from this statement? First thing is absolutely right that A is not equal to, that means 1 is not equal to 2. Correct? Can you at least say that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about others? What about the second point? You tell me. What do you think?
True.
You're saying that is true?
Yes.
Okay. So it means that delta H1 is greater than delta H2. You see that is true. Why do you say that?
It takes more energy.
It takes more energy, right?
Enthalpy.
So that is right. What else did you want to ask? See, you only did the question, no? This is right only. You said no.
Yes, sir.
So that was all fine. You just need to ask yourself what is the difference, why they are asking this. Okay, what would have happened initially if I have solid, what would have happened if I have gas, all these things you ask yourself, and then only you will be coming to the reaction, coming to the correct answer. Okay, any problem?
Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you.
No problem, right? Okay, fine.
So can you
Okay.
also explain the first question from the assignment?
First question from the assignment, sure. But you have to only do it, Hannah, Samaira.
Yes,
I
sir.
will ask, yeah, I will ask this some questions and you have to do it. Okay. Okay, fine. So they have estimated the standard enthalpy of combustion of hydrogen, correct? So first of all, what we have to do, we have to write a reaction for this. Yes or no, Samaira?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what will be the reaction? Tell me. What will be the reaction?
H2 plus 2O2.
H2 plus O2. Let us keep it like that, and it will form H2O. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is not balanced, or is this balanced?
Not balanced.
So what we have to do? Tell me.
You have to write 2 in front of O2.
2 in front of O2. Okay, and then
2 in front of H2 also.
2 in front of H2 also, and then
Then 2 in front of H2.
okay. Now what they have said, standard enthalpy of combustion. No? So the one which is getting reacted, the one which is reacting with oxygen, it should be 1 mole. No? You remember that 1 mole
Yes.
enthalpy of combustion. Huh? So we'll not do it like that. We will just give a half O2. Enough. Yes or no? So
Yes.
this is the most important. Now you understand, or do I need to do? I think this was the problem.
Yes, sir.
We got it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So see, the reactions are very important. The first thing here only you will have to get some thermochemistry, because this combustion, a standard enthalpy of combustion of hydrogen, it is a value which has a thermochemical equation, and you have to correctly write the thermochemical equation. Okay, no other doubts from the assignment?
No, sir.
No? Okay, fine. So let us read about, see, we have learned, for example, many types of enthalpies. You may be getting some other enthalpies also, but we have not learned them. For example, enthalpy of neutralization. So it seems like it is something, but enthalpy of neutralization, again, it is nothing. Why? Because you will have 1 mole of acid, 1 mole of base, they will react and they will form 1 mole of salt. Okay, so you're neutralizing that thing. So in terms of questions, you will be getting many type of enthalpies, but please remember that whatever enthalpies you will be getting, whether it is combustion, whether it is formation, or it is a particular reaction, then all of them can be stated in the enthalpy of reaction stage. Okay, they all can be stated in the enthalpy of reaction. Now please don't get confused with these different enthalpies. If they are asking enthalpy of combustion, then you have to just write the equation where you will have 1 mole in the reactant side. If they are saying enthalpy of formation, then you have to write the thermochemical equation where you are forming 1 mole of the product. So only when they are asked, otherwise everything is enthalpy of reaction for you. Okay, so this is just for clarity and just for simplicity. Even still, I do whatever problem if I get in thermochemistry, I keep them all of them I keep them as enthalpy of reactions, except when needed. If I need something to be enthalpy of combustion, then I will write the equation and then I will call it. Okay, I will keep that in mind that it is enthalpy of combustion. It is not enthalpy of for example, this enthalpy of combustion of H2, I can also say the same enthalpy is for delta H now of O2 of H2O. This is enthalpy of formation of H2O also. This is enthalpy of combustion of H2 also. Correct? So see, these two things, both of them are also under enthalpy of reaction, standard enthalpy of this reaction. Okay. So please use the definitions of different enthalpies only when needed. Otherwise, everything is enthalpy of reaction. Now, let us move on and let us write another enthalpy, lattice enthalpy. So again, these definitions, they will be only useful to write the thermochemical equations, nothing else. Okay, they're only useful to write the correct thermochemical equation, nothing else. Okay, please write the definition. The enthalpy change the enthalpy change which occurs when 1 mole of an ionic compound dissociates into its ions in gaseous state. Okay, so for enthalpy of reaction, you will be writing like this, NaCl. Okay, so this is an ionic compound and it should be 1 mole. Okay, this ionic compound should be 1 mole. 1 mole of NaCl. What will happen? It is a solid. It doesn't have to be solid, okay, but generally it is solid ionic compounds. it is going to break into what? Into its ions in gaseous state. So you will get Na positive plus Cl negative. This is also in gaseous state. So this will be delta H naught. Now tell me, this will be a positive value or a negative value? What we are doing here, we are breaking a solid now. That means we have to give energy, right? So this is plus 788, I guess, kilojoule per mole. 788 kilojoule per mole. Okay, obviously there are two uses of this particular definition of whatever enthalpies you are writing. They can be directly asked in the question paper, right? What is lattice enthalpy? Then also you have to write this. Otherwise, in case of numericals, we just need to write correct thermochemical equation, nothing else. Okay, nothing else. Now let us calculate what will be the lattice enthalpy and what are the different steps. Obviously, we can see that it is not going to be completely from solid to gas. It is not going to happen like this. Okay, it is not going to happen like this. So let us see what are the things that is happening here. So rather than writing any positive and Cl negative, what we can say is that we can start with, if I try and calculate how much energy is released if I form NaCl solid, and then I just put a positive sign in that, that will also be equal to the lattice enthalpy. Okay, that will also be equal to the lattice enthalpy. Now, what I need to do, I need to form. Okay, what I need to do, form. We estimate the lattice enthalpy of a substance lattice enthalpy of a substance by constructing enthalpy diagram. Okay, enthalpy diagram. Now, what is our idea? Our idea is that we will be forming NaCl solid. Okay, and by this formation, when we form NaCl solid, what we will be having? We will be having Na solid plus what else we will be having? Cl2 gas. Okay, half Cl2 gas. So now if I calculate the enthalpy of formation of NaCl, then what I can do, I can just add a positive sign, just change the sign, and I can say that the lattice enthalpy will be the negative, because what we are doing here, we are going from NaCl to the Na positive gas and Cl negative gas signs. But first write this, then I will ask you a few questions and then we can move backwards. Write this down, let me know if you're done. Done? Let me know if you're done, okay?
Done, sir.
Okay. So initially we have in our standard states Na solid, okay, plus we have half Cl2 gas, okay, and this will be giving me NaCl solid, okay, NaCl solid. Now this is something that is going to happen, but this is not the lattice enthalpy. What is this? This is the enthalpy of formation of, what I have written is the enthalpy of formation of NaCl. What is lattice enthalpy? Lattice enthalpy is if this NaCl, it gets converted into, I have to break this down to Na positive, right, plus Cl negative. Correct? Now, rather than what I will do, rather than going from NaCl to Na positive and Cl negative, I will go this way. Okay, in between there will be a few steps, but I hope all of you can see that I can go from Na solid to Na positive and Cl negative. Yes or no, guys? Tell me first then. We can go from here to here now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and in between what I can do, I can subtract whatever this value is, enthalpy of formation. Okay, enthalpy of formation. So let us start. Let us try to go from Na solid and half Cl to gas to Na positive and Cl negative. Okay, Na positive and Cl negative. So first of all, what we need to do is, see, let me erase this. Let me copy this and let me place it here. Okay. Now, first thing that I will do is, first of all, state change, phase transformations. First of all, we will deal with the physical transformation. Then only we will do something related to chemistry. So tell me, do I need to change the phase of chlorine? Do I need to change the phase of chlorine? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No, I don't need to change the phase of chlorine. Okay, fine. What do you think? Do I need to change the phase of sodium? Yes or no? Do I need to change the phase of sodium?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what I will be doing? I will be sublimation, right? Delta H naught. Sublimation of what? Of sodium I will do, and I will get sodium, which is gas, plus half Cl2, which is also a gas. Okay. Now tell me. Now the phases are fine. Okay. Now the phases are fine. What should I do next? Tell me. Acha, what should I do to sodium to make it Na positive? You take one element and tell me. Yeah, Mariam, tell me. What do I need to do?
Remove an electron.
Remove an electron. Okay, fine. Then if I remove an electron, do you remember what that is called? Removal of one electron. We have learned that in periodic properties, enthalpy, ionization enthalpy,
Yes,
delta H naught, ionization enthalpy. Okay. So see, ionization enthalpy we did not learn in thermodynamics, but it is also ionization enthalpy. What is ionization enthalpy? When 1 mole of gaseous ions, okay, when 1 mole of gaseous ions, there will be 1 electron is removed from the 1 mole of gaseous ions, whatever energy is required. So this is also for sodium. This is also for sodium. Now I will get Na positive gas plus half Cl2 gas. Fine. Now tell me, what is the next thing that I need to do? First of all, tell me, Mariam. Tell me.
electron gain enthalpy.
Electron gain enthalpy. Okay, fine. You are telling me to add an electron. But do you remember what is the definition for electron gain enthalpy?
1 mole of electron
Is added to an isolated gaseous
gaseous
atom. So is this atom or is this a molecule?
molecule.
So first of all, what we need to do?
Make it
We
an
need to make.
atom.
How will we make it an atom? How will we make it an atom? Tell me. Yes, Mariam.
Separate the molecule.
No, separate the atoms, right? So what is okay? So this Cl2 molecule, it has 2 atoms. So 2 chlorine atoms it has. So what do I need to do? What is making them be together? What is holding them together? Yes, Mariam. What is holding them together? The 2 Cl atoms.
Bond.
Okay, so
ionic bond.
Yeah, no, Cl2 में covalent bond only,
Oh,
bond.
sorry, covalent.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Bond only. So what kind of enthalpy? If I want to break the bond, bond enthalpy.
Bond enthalpy.
Bond dissociation enthalpy or bond enthalpy. Very good. So see, you know these things now. I hope nothing is new here. Okay, we are not doing anything new. Next step that we are going to do is what we will have is, so delta. Acha. Now see, in bond enthalpy, we should have 1 mole, na? But here it is what, half mole. So what I will do, I will write half of delta H naught of bond. Fine. Any problem? Any problem, guys?
No, sir.
No, no. Okay. So again, see, the definitions are useful only here while you are writing whatever enthalpies are there. So you will write direct Cl because half of Cl2 will be chlorine, and you will write a gas. Okay, chlorine gas. Okay. Now the only thing that we need to do is what we need to do. We need to go from here to here. Okay, and just delta H naught electron gain. Correct. And this will be okay, half bond enthalpy of Cl2, and this will be also for chlorine gas. Okay, this will be also for chlorine. Any problem? Tell me.
No, sir.
No problem. Okay. So how are we going to go from here to here? Okay, and how are we going to find this? How are we going to find this part? This is the delta H naught lattice. Okay, delta H naught lattice. Okay, okay, and what I can say about this is delta H naught formation. Okay, first of all, write this complete thing. This is known as Haber cycle. This whole thing is known as this is the enthalpy diagram, and it is known as Born-Haber cycle. Born-Haber cycle. Done.
Done, sir.
So 1 minute, can I?
Okay, okay, yeah, sure, no problem, no problem.
Yes, sir, completed.
Completed? Okay, fine. Now, we have to write all of these equations in such a way that we get this equation NaCl is giving me Na positive and Cl negative. Okay, Na positive and Cl negative. So all of you must have that okay. Now what I will do, I will write, I'm just making space here. Okay, so I will say delta H naught lattice. This will be equal to, okay, so we have NaCl. Okay, NaCl that is in the reactant side. This is our, wait a second, this is our target reaction. Okay, I'm just taking a leap of faith with you guys that I'm not writing each and every equation in this the usual way. So this is your target reaction. Okay, so now tell me, the first thing is H naught standard enthalpy of formation of NaCl. Okay, can all of you see that the first reaction that we are forming is the standard enthalpy of formation of NaCl? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now tell me what is common in the reaction which has standard enthalpy, the formation reaction and the target reaction. What is common? What is common? Okay, what is common?
The phase of sodium.
No. Which element, which compound is same in this reaction and the green one? NaCl is same, no? Yeah, NaCl is same. So tell me now, NaCl, it is in which phase?
Solid.
Oh, sorry. NaCl is in which side? The same side or opposite side?
It's in the opposite side.
It's in the opposite side. Okay,
Yeah.
it's in the opposite side. Just yeah, remember that. Okay, and after that, if I say about this reaction, if I go from NaCl, if I talk about this reaction, sublimation, in this reaction and the lattice enthalpy reaction, what is common? Is there anything which is common?
Yeah, the phase of Na changes in both.
No, no. I'm saying is any of the reactants and the products that are common? Is there anything from the reactions and product which is common? No. Nothing is common, right?
Yes, nothing is common.
Nothing is common. Okay. Now tell me, in this ionization enthalpy, is there anything which is common? Is there anything which is common?
Enthalpy and which one?
Target. This is
Oh,
our
okay.
lattice enthalpy is the target. Yeah.
Yes, Na is same in both.
Na is same in both, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Na is same in both. So Na is same in both, and in both of them, it is in the product side. In the enthalpy, sorry, in the ionization enthalpy and in the lattice enthalpy also, it is on the same side. What
Yes.
about this? What about this?
Na positive is same.
What is same?
Yeah, Na is same again.
But Na is also in the reactants and the products, so it doesn't matter, no?
Mhm. Yeah,
And what about other things? They are not same,
not same.
correct?
Yeah, not
What
same.
about this one? What about this one?
Okay, Cl is not same.
Cl is okay. In this, see the Cl negative is the same product, na? So the product is
Yes.
same here, right?
Mhm.
For both of
Yeah.
the reactions, the products are on the same side, and both our products are also same. Okay.
Yes.
So how are we going to now calculate? Tell me the lattice enthalpy. See, first of all, we had enthalpy of formation. Yes or no? Enthalpy of formation. Now, in enthalpy of formation, the product was the reactant of target. That is why I will say negative of delta H naught of formation. Fine. Negative of delta H naught of formation. Okay. And after that, you may have seen that either it is not matching with the products or with any of the reactants and the products of the target reaction, the further reactions, for example, delta H naught sublimation, right? So delta H naught sublimation, you had to add because you need to get sodium positive. So you can see that if you go from here to here, if I go from sodium solid to sodium gas, that means the product sodium gas is also there in whatever reaction we have and also in the target reaction. So sodium positive is there in the product side. That is why we will be adding all these things without any change in the sign, This is similar to what we did when we started with the Hess law. Okay, so this is only Hess law. Here you will write delta H naught sublimation. Okay, delta H naught sublimation of what? But this will be of sodium. Okay, plus we will have delta H naught, that is ionization enthalpy, and this will be also for sodium, correct? Next, what do we have? The bond dissociation enthalpy. So we need to add that also. What is the bond dissociation enthalpy? Half bond dissociation, half of delta H naught bond of Cl2. Okay, and then we will have plus whatever is the delta H naught Eg. Okay, whatever is the delta H naught Eg. Now see, you may be confused right now because I have not done it very clearly. So let me write all of these reactions. Minus of, so inverse of formation. Inverse of formation will be NaCl solid is giving me sodium solid plus half Cl2 gas. Any problem with this equation? Yes or no? Tell me. No problem, no?
No problem, sir.
No problem, right? I can write the inverse of formation as the inverse reaction. Okay, as the inverse reaction. Then the delta H naught sublimation of sodium. Delta H naught sublimation of sodium only. Okay, so we'll be going sodium solid to sodium gas. Now, sir, you will be saying, sir, यहाँ पे तो chlorine भी था, sir. Here we had chlorine also, but you can see that chlorine is not getting changed in the reactants and the product. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether we write it or not write it. Correct? So I have omitted the whatever is not being used and whatever is not being changed. So sodium solid to sodium gas. Next one is ionization enthalpy. So I will write sodium gas. It is getting converted into Na positive. This is also gas. Then we have the half bond enthalpy of Cl2. So what I will write half Cl2 gas gets converted to one chlorine gaseous atom, right? And after that we have the electron gain enthalpy. This is also for chlorine. Electron gain enthalpy will be Cl, which is a gas. It is getting an electron. It is getting converted into Cl negative, right? Now if I add all these, okay, now you can see there are many things which can be eliminated. We can eliminate chlorine gas and chlorine gas. We can eliminate this half Cl2 gas and this half Cl2 gas. We can eliminate sodium gas to sodium gas, right? You can also eliminate sodium solid to sodium solid. Now what are we getting? The resultant is NaCl solid. It is giving me Na positive gas plus Cl negative is also gas. Cl negative gas. And this is the definition of delta H naught of lattice. Okay, I hope it is a bit more clear now. This represents
Yes,
negative of H naught of formation. This represents the H naught of sublimation. This is the H naught of ionization. And this is the half of H naught. This is the half of H naught of bond. Okay, and this is what? This is the H naught of electron gain. Okay. Now you can write this down. Let me know if you're done.
Done, sir.
Done, all of you?
no, sir, no.
Done,
Okay,
sir.
fine. Okay. Let me know if you're done. Okay.
Done, sir.
No, I'm waiting for Matthew. Matthew, are you done?
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, done.
Okay, fine. Right, next. Enthalpy of solution. I don't know which number is this. So enthalpy of solution. Okay. Now, enthalpy of solution. What do we call enthalpy of solution? Please write with me and then we can explain it. The enthalpy change accompanied by the enthalpy change accompanied by the dissolution of dissolution of 1 mole of the dissolution of 1 mole of a substance in a specified amount of solution in specified amount of solution. Okay. Let's see here. So did we write about the hydration enthalpy?
No, sir.
Okay, we did not write about hydration enthalpy, no? Okay. You see, hydration enthalpy is when it is attached with water molecules. Okay, and it is attached with water molecules. Okay, first write this enthalpy of solution, then we will understand this. Okay. So enthalpy of solution, enthalpy of solution. So what happens? Let us suppose that we have a molecule. For example, we have AB molecule, and it is getting converted into A positive, which is an aqueous solution, plus B negative in aqueous solution. Okay, B negative in aqueous solution. Now, what would have happened here? What would have happened here is you would have first converted this into A positive gaseous state plus B negative gaseous state okay, and after that we would have got this when we added water. Now this going from an ionic molecule which is getting converted into a gaseous atom, it is shown as delta H naught lattice, right? We have just seen that into its constituent ion in gaseous form. This is H lattice, and when you add water to gaseous molecules, gaseous ions, this is known as hydration enthalpy, delta H naught hydration. Okay, and from A to B, this is what delta H naught of solution. So I can write delta H naught of solution. It is equal to delta H naught of lattice plus delta H naught of hydration. You write this down, let me know if you're done. Wow.
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Not done or done?
Done.
Done, okay. Next enthalpy of dilution. Is there anyone who is right now in India? सारा is in India. सारा आपकी स्कूल तो बंद हुए कि नहीं हुए? बिहार में तो बंद हो गया शायद.
No, sir.
नहीं बंद क्या?
No,
अच्छा,
sir.
lower standards or what?
8 तक बंद है.
8 तक बंद है. अच्छा. Like the place I live in Jharkhand, they have completely shut down everything. I think only because in Ranchi there are a lot of cases. And what about the mask mandates and all, Sarah, in Bihar? Do you require mask and all to go outside?
Yes, sir.
So you require that, okay. But it was lenient, na? Like in November, December, we did not require masks.
No one cares even now, but it's our wish.
Actually, also now it is not mandated. It's your wish. Okay, okay. I mean, you know what? In Omicron, you can't do anything. 80 to 90% of the patients, they are asymptomatic. I mean, it is good only. Like, also, it is very, very, very contagious. It is very contagious. To escape Omicron, it is, I don't know. It's big deal. It's big deal.
So in
But let us
India,
talk.
cases are more, right, of Omicron. They are increasing day by day.
It is obviously increasing. Wherever there will be tests going on, it will be increasing day by day.
Even
Because
in India, my aunt was saying that like most of the people, they're not going for the test. So they don't know how many people are infected.
yeah, that is true. The other thing about Omicron is that you guys have biology, na, some of you.
Yes,
Okay, so let me show you one graph. So this is the mutation graphs, okay? This is known as the phenology of viruses. So if you see, like in March 2020, we started with the coronavirus, and there are some wedge type graphs, right? This is a wedge, okay? Then this is the delta wedge. So this had many mutations, but see the mutations of Omicron. I mean, it is away even from, I would guess, that the natural mutations. The natural mutations are here. They are all here. It starts with a very small number of cases for alpha, beta. They're not even named. Then here you have somewhere delta. Then there is gamma. Here also there are some mutations in delta, and it is further relayed in the blue. Then you had a large number of gamma, which was during the September. But after 2021 September, see, the Omicron, the mutations are very different in Omicron, and that is why even the vaccines, they are not working from Omicron. Okay, but the good news is that the hospitalization are very low. The cases are asymptomatic. You don't need much oxygen, and the ICUs also, you don't need even ICUs much. So those things are good, but the mutations, it is scary. Fine, right? Enthalpy of dilution. Right here, the enthalpy change when a specific amount of solute is added to specific amount of solvent. Okay, so these are not very much used. As you can see here, you don't have standard enthalpy of dilution. So wherever you don't have standard enthalpy, they will not be asking very much about standard enthalpies of dilutions and enthalpy of dilution and also enthalpy of solution. They can ask you, define it, but in numericals, they are not going to give it to you. Okay, so enthalpy change when a specific amount of solute is added to a specific amount of solvent. Write this down. Let me know if you're done. Yeah, okay. Write a note here. On successive dilution, the enthalpy of dilution, approaches a limiting value. Okay, it means that like the enthalpy change in this first dilution will be very high. Then if you add again some water, then the change will be relatively low. If you add again water, the change will be relatively low. And if you keep adding the water, then at some point of time, the enthalpy, you will see no significant enthalpy change. Okay, so that means when I say approaches a limiting value. Okay, write this down. Then we are again moving to the thermodynamics. So this was thermochemistry. We started with thermochemistry. We introduced a state function that is enthalpy. Okay, the measurement of heat involved in a particular reaction when you have a constant pressure. When you have a constant pressure, and we said that that is enthalpy. And after that, we did thermochemistry. Now we are back to thermodynamics. Okay, we are back to thermodynamics. Please write this down. Let me know if you're done.
Done, sir.
Done, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now tell me, let us suppose you have a block of iron. Okay, a block of iron, and this is heated 200 degrees Celsius, let us say. What will happen if you touch it? What will happen if you touch it? Or will anything happen if you touch it? With your fingers, huh?
Sir, to the iron or our hand.
To the iron or of our hand. Okay, so Mariam is getting very nitty-gritty. Tell me about anything to iron also and to your hand also. What will happen?
Well, it will burn.
What will burn? Your hand will burn?
Yeah, little like it
Why?
depends for how much time period.
You keep your hand on it, no problem. What? Why it will burn?
Because it's hard.
So
Because the temperature of your hand is lower than that of the
Yeah.
heated object.
so what will happen then?
So whatever is hotter will, dominate over the colder object. So that's why your hand will start getting burned.
Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is that the temperature of your hand will also increase, right?
Yeah, it will.
Exactly. I mean, it will increase. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you are saying that heat will flow from iron to your hand, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why that? Why is that happening? Why is heat flowing from higher temperature to lower temperature? If I see this is, I mean, why it is happening? We say everything happens for stability. The answer is for stability it happens. Okay, everything happens for stability. Okay, everyone wants to have a stability. This is one point that we all can agree, and we don't need any proof for that. But what is more stable and what is less stable, we can debate about that. Why is high temperature, why is high temperature not a stable form, or low temperature not a stable form? We can debate about that, but we all can say everything in the universe, it wants to gain stability. But when we are transferring the temperature, so we are not doing anything. Now what we are saying, what we are doing is that we are decreasing the temperature of iron and we are increasing the temperature of our hand, right? We are increasing. So net, there is no change in energy. Net, there is no change in energy, right? But why does this happen then? Another example, another thing that I want to ask you. For example, if you have okay, so there are two boxes like this. There are two boxes like this. In one box, we have, let us say, green gaseous molecule. Okay. And in the blue, we have, sorry, in the next box, we have blue gaseous molecule. Okay. Now, if I create a hole in between, let us say a small hole also, then they will completely, the red one will get into the blue one, and they will completely distribute themselves equally in whatever area they have got. Yes or no? Tell me. That is going to happen. They will mix with each other. They will mix each other, yes or no? No? The red gas and the blue gas, if they are not reacting,
They will.
they will not mix. Why? Tell me.
If they're not reacting, so they won't mix.
Array. If they are not
Yeah,
reacting,
this
they will
question
not
is-
react. They will not react. Okay, so obviously they can mix. For example, salt and water, they don't react. So that is why we see that it is getting mixed.
So it will also mix.
Yeah, it will mix. Obviously, it is going to mix. No, why not? So this is something which has to do with now. You tell me one more point. If I ask you that there is a positive charge in a coin, this is a 5 rupees coin, and it has a potential, let us say potential of 1000 volt, potential of 1000 volt, and the same 1000 volt potential I have given to the earth. This is earth. Okay, and this earth has also equal, 1000 volt of potential is there in the earth. Okay, so what are you going to touch? Which will you touch most likely? Which will hurt you less? The 1000 volt coin or the 1000 volt earth? Which is going to hurt you less? Or both are going to hurt you equally?
Both of
Aisha.
them. No, I guess Earth will hurt more.
Earth will hurt more. What do you guys? Hishma? What do you think?
So Earth won't hurt.
Earth won't hurt. Okay. What about Mariam? What do you think, Mariam?
Sir, same Earth won't hurt much.
Earth won't
Their
hurt
coin
much,
will
right?
hurt.
Why? Why, Aisha? Why? Why? Who can say why? Mariam, can you explain why?
Because
Earth won't.
the voltage or potential is like distributed.
Equally, na?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is just, and obviously you can think like one of the electric lines. Obviously it has fallen somewhere in the earth. Correct. It is one of the electric lines is fallen. Yeah, it is live wire which is fallen. It may be.
It's like a bed of nails, right?
Sorry, bed of
It's like-
nails.
yeah, so a bed of nails will not be painful, but
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So what I can say is, if you have distributed the energy, what is potential? Potential is also, we can say it is it is one way of representing energy, right? One way of representing energy. So if you distribute the potential, that system is more stable. Can I say that? Yes or no? If I distribute the energy, that system is going to be more stable. Correct? And now that is only happening in the coin. Na? In our coin, we are concentrating the potential, that is the energy. And in earth, what we are doing, we are distributing that energy into a very large area. So we can say, if energy is distributed, or I would say it is not localized. If it is not localized, then I would say then it is stable. Energy should not be distributed. It's not localized by nature. So what nature wants to do always, nature wants to distribute the energy. Correct? Can we see? That is why what happens when you are touching see, this is higher energy, right? Higher energy, and then here you have your hand has low energy because it has low temperature. If you have higher temperature, that will means higher energy, and if you have low temperature, that means low energy. So heat is flowing from high energy to low energy. Okay, high energy to low energy. Why? Because if it is moving from high energy to low energy, the energy here it will be also lowered, and here it will be increasing. But in a sense, the density of the energy will be decreasing. So we always have to decrease the. Nature wants to decrease energy density. Okay, nature wants to do what? It wants to decrease the energy density. That is why nature likes to disperse its energy. Okay, disperse its energy. Any problem here? Any difficulty in understanding this? Tell me.
No, sir.
No problem. Okay, fine. No problem. So this term now we have to give whatever is happening, this dispersion of energy, we have to give some term to it. We have to give some term to it. Okay. And we call this as entropy. We called this as entropy. Okay. We call this as entropy. So most of the times what you will be hearing about entropy. Have you heard this word entropy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What was the meaning? What did you understand by entropy? It is the measurement of what? Disorderness, chaos. Have you heard these terms? No
Yes,
or
sir.
yes?
Disorder
Yeah.
in the system.
Sorry, who said that? I could not hear that. There was mismatch of voices. Someone was saying something. Please repeat that now. Ishma, Mariam.
Entropy is the
Huh?
measure of randomness or disorder in the system.
What do you understand by that? Randomness and disorder of the system. So yeah, it is true. It is correct, but it is very abstract. If I want to say, right, randomness, disorder. What are you measuring eventually? Okay, so what we measure in entropy is the dispersion of energy. So if I say that we have energy here, for example, let us say you are holding a cup of coffee. Okay, you're holding a cup of coffee. Now all the energy is in this cup of coffee, right? It is in this cup of coffee. I mean, there are many types of energy in this cup of coffee, right? In this cup of coffee, you have coffee, which has some heat, it has some energy. Now, there is also liquid. Okay, there is also liquid. Liquid also will be having some kind of energy, and it is also limited to one cup. So it has a shape. Now it is also lifted up. That means you have some potential energy. And the cup it is made up of, let us say it is a glass cup, right? Ceramic cup. So that ceramic is also a solid. So in solid, you will be having some type of bond enthalpies, right? In solid, you will be having some type of bond enthalpies. Now, as soon as you drop this, okay, so this is very concentrated. This is a very concentrated system, right? Very concentrated system. Now, if I drop this, what will happen? The cup will break, the coffee or the tea, whatever you are holding, it will be dispersed over the floor. Okay, so here you will get randomness. How? There is only one way of having cup in a coffee. Okay, there is only one possibility of having cup in a coffee, but the possibilities of breaking a cup, I mean, in how many different ways a cup can break, it is very large. So as soon as the nature has the possibility of breaking the cup, it is going to break the cup, and it is not going to happen reversibly, right? It is not going to go from randomness to concentrated, because there is only one possibility. In various possibilities in the nature, there are many possibilities in the nature. Okay, and in that there is only one possibility of having coffee in a cup. And as soon as we stop holding it, we don't even drop it, we stop holding the cup. Now nature has the ability that it can move toward randomness. Okay, now that is why it will go to one of these possibilities of breaking the cup. Okay, but again, that is more of a statistical thermodynamics point of view. But for you guys, you can understand that. And then what is entropy? Entropy is the dispersion of energy, right? Entropy is the dispersion of energy. And that is why in universe, what will happen? Entropy is always positive for universe. Now, if it is positive for universe, and universe is what? It is an isolated system, right? It is an isolated universe. The complete universe is an isolated system. That is why this entropy is also positive for any isolated system also. If you have any isolated system, the entropy will always be positive. Okay. Right. Now we learned about entropy, but we'll be coming back to entropy later on. I wanted to give you an idea what is entropy and all. Now see, there is another term. For example, you have this is hot iron, and you touch it. So I would say what is happening? Heat flows from iron from iron to hand. Secondly, in this term, what is happening? Entropy term is there. Entropy. है ना? This is force. The force which is giving the process which is deriving this. Sorry, the force which is deriving this process is entropy, the dispersion of energy. Secondly, if I have this is, let us say this is a pen, and it falls down. Okay, so pen falling from height h. So here there is no dispersion of energy. What is happening here? You have some potential energy, that is mgh, and then the pen, it does not have like when it reaches the ground, the potential energy, it is equal to 0. Okay, so this force, whatever this process, it is derived by the driving force for this process is what? It is energy. Okay, so there are two things which derives a particular natural process. Okay, so both of them happen on their own. They don't require any external agent. Yes or no? Both of the things, they happen on their own. Yes or no? Tell me first that. If you touch a hot thing, then the heat will flow from the hot thing to your hand, and if you stop holding a pen, then the pen will fall down to the ground. It will fall down to the ground. Now both of them, they don't need any external agent. They are happening on their own. Yes or no? You agree with this? Happening on their own? Tell me.
Sir.
Yes. Okay, fine. Now these processes, these type of things which happens on their own, they don't need any external agency, or they don't need any external force. It is known as spontaneous process. Okay, so right, spontaneity. Spontaneity does not mean fast. It does not mean fast. Okay, that is the first point I want to write regarding spontaneity. Why anything happens? Okay, spontaneity is the answer. Spontaneity is the answer of why anything happens. Okay, why anything happens. It is the answer to this question. Spontaneity. Okay, so please write a spontaneous process is an irreversible. It is an irreversible process and may only be reversed by some external agency. Okay, also spontaneity does not mean fast. Okay, it does not mean fast. It just means that it is an irreversible process. Okay, so whatever is happening, you cannot reverse this. I mean, it cannot be reversed by a very small change. Okay, you have to put some kind of external agency to reverse this spontaneous process, to reverse the particular spontaneous process. Okay, write this down. Let me know if you're done. Write this down. Let me know if you're done.
Done, sir.
Okay. Done. Okay, I have a new student today. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How should I pronounce your name? First of all, tell me that. I have never pronounced this name before.
Sir, it's Hotvika.
Hotvika. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Where are you from?
Sir, I'm from Hyderabad.
You're from, I mean, from Hyderabad, and you're staying in
Yes.
Hyderabad only or somewhere else?
No, sir. I'm in Arabia right now, Saudi Arabia.
Actually, you're in Kingdom. You're in studying.
sir.
You're studying in which school?
ISD, sir. International Indian School.
International Indian School. Wait a second. Dammam. No.
Yes, International Indian School, Dammam.
Dammam. Okay, fine. Dammam. We have another student from Dammam, IST.
Me and
Samaira?
Mariam.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Samaira. Okay, Mariam and all of you. So you know these guys, Hotvika, Aisha,
No, sir.
Mariam. Actually, you don't know.
No, I have
So-
no idea.
Maybe so we are in different section.
In different
Yeah.
section. Okay.
Yeah, me, Mariam and Samara, we are in one section.
Acha. Hishma, you are from which school then? Hishma, you're not from ISD?
So I'm in Kuwait.
Okay. Afwan, Mafi. I have a very small, very weak memory. Okay, you're in Kuwait. Sorry. Okay. So did you understood, or you were having problem? Anything?
No, sir.
I'm sorry. No, you understood till here?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, fine. So thermodynamic is done in your school, in your section.
No, sir, it's still not done. Like they've started the lesson, but it's still going on.
Acha, it is
They
still
haven't
going on.
completed it yet.
Acha, they haven't completed it yet. Okay, fine. No problem.
Yes.
And what subject do you have? Maths or biology?
Sir, math, physics, chemistry, and computer science.
It's computer science. What is happening in computer science?
We're doing loop lists right now.
Loop. Okay. So tell me two ways now in which I can form loop.
Sorry?
Tell me two ways in which I can form loop in Python. You must have studied two loops, I guess. No, you haven't studied any two loops.
We studied nested and there are some.
We can start loop with two statements. Does anyone remember, anyone who has computer science, they can tell me, can they tell me? What did you say, Hotvika?
Sorry.
You forgot it. Who has computer science here? No one?
No, sir, we have home science.
You have home science. Okay. What about Matthew? What do you have?
Sir, I have psychology.
You have psychology. Okay. Acha, koi nahi hai. Sara, what about you? What do you have?
Physical education.
Very good. Great. Physical education. So, Hotvika, you will tell me, okay, in the next class. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
what are the two ways in which we can initiate a loop statement in Python? Okay. Moving on. So if we have a spontaneous process, okay, so criteria for spontaneous process. Criteria for spontaneous process. Okay. Criteria for spontaneous process. So see, obviously one criteria is, number one criteria will be decrease in enthalpy. Decrease in enthalpy. Okay. And the second criteria will be increase in entropy. Increase in entropy. That means whatever system we are studying, what should happen in that system if I want to have a spontaneous process? So there should be a decrease in energy and there should be an increase in the energy dispersion. There should be an increase in the energy dispersion. Okay. Fine. Now, how are we going to measure entropy? We have learned many things about enthalpy. We have learned a lot of things about enthalpy. Now, but we have to learn about entropy. Okay. We have to learn about entropy. So see, without even writing or studying anything about, but I explained you entropy. That is why I can write entropy here. Okay. In your notebook, there may not be anything written about entropy right now, the first statement that you're writing about entropy is increase in entropy for as the criteria of spontaneous process. But I have explained you guys, okay? Now I can write things about entropy. Okay, so write entropy. Entropy, okay? So entropy that you are going to learn and you are going to keep in your head. First of all, how it is denoted? It is denoted by this sign S. Okay, it is denoted by this sign, which is known as, this is S. Okay, and what is entropy? Entropy is, think of it as energy dispersal. Energy dispersal. Okay, energy dispersal. Second point. Now this is something that you will think about it. Now, how are we going to define this so that you get marks in your examination? Okay, marks in your examination. So we can say entropy is the measure of randomness. Okay, measure of randomness, but this is completely useless statement. I mean, for me it is useless. I don't know of any person who understands what this means. Entropy is the measure of randomness, but I know that I can understand what does it mean by energy dispersal. I can also feel it when I touch something hot. Then the energy is getting from the hot substance to my hand. Okay, it is getting from hot to my hand. Now this randomness, I can derive this mathematically using statistical thermodynamics, but that is obviously not in your syllabus. Okay, now think of it as energy dispersion. Now for us, what we need is, first of all, we are interested in what we are interested in, change in enthalpy rather than the absolute enthalpy, change in enthalpy. Okay, we are interested in change in enthalpy. Also, next point that you should write is, since nature always wants to disperse energy, hence the entropy of an isolated system is always increasing. It is always going to increase. Done. Write this down. Let me know if you're done. Okay, add one more point that we can add here is the delta S total, which is equal to the delta S of system plus delta S of surrounding. This should always be greater than 0. Okay, that means it should always be positive. Okay. Yeah, write this down. Let me know if you're done. Then we can move on. Done? Okay. Now, Let us try and derive an equation with which we can measure the entropy, Okay. Let us suppose, I can say, for example, if I talk about a utensil which has some gas and I heat it, as I'm going to heat it, the randomness in this particular chamber, it is going to increase. Yes or no? If I talk about this in terms of heat. So I can say delta S is what directly proportional to the Q, the heat which is given. Okay, the heat which is given. Let us suppose that this chamber was at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, 0 degrees Celsius, and we heated it, and we increased the temperature to, let us suppose that, 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, 200 degrees Celsius. So this is the delta S1. It is in proportion to Q heat. So we are giving same amount of heat, that is increasing the temperature from 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. That is the delta T is 100. So similarly, let us suppose one more chamber is here, and what we are doing, we are going to give it same amount of heat. Okay, we are going to give it same amount of heat. That is, it is going to increase the temperature from it will have a temperature change of 100 degrees Celsius, but here it is going to increase from, let us suppose, 10,000 degrees Celsius to 10,000 so this is 10,000. This is to 10,100 degrees Celsius. Okay, fine. You just see these 2 points. Let it absorb these 2 points. And now you will tell me, what do you think? Where will the randomness be more? All the substances are same, everything is same. We are giving the same heat. We are using the same chamber. We are using the same gas molecules. But in one, we have 0 degrees Celsius. The temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. We are increasing it to 100 degrees Celsius. And in the second one, we have the temperature 10,000 degrees Celsius. And then we are going to change it to 10,100 degrees Celsius. What do you think? Where will the randomness be more? Where will be the change of randomness? Where will the randomness increase more? In the first case or the second case?
First case.
Yeah. How many of you agree with first case? The randomness will increase more. There will be more randomness. The change in randomness will be very more. Huh, guys? Now, if you want to think now, you can think this about in this terms. For example, let us take this as water. Okay. So what I am doing is I'm getting an ice here. Okay. And if I go from ice, that is 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius, then can you think about the randomness that is changing? It is the complete phase is changing, solid to gas, right? But here it is gas to gas only. So there is not much change in the randomness. So obviously I can say that delta S2 is greater than delta S1. Now, here I can, and so here I can add also one more thing, that delta S1, or whatever the entropy change, it is what? It is inversely proportional to the temperature. If the temperature is low, the entropy change will be very high. Okay, and similarly, I can also say delta S2 here also, it is inversely proportional to the temperature. And hence, now we have got our statement. As you can see, the temperature is a constant here. The temperature is also a constant here. Now we can say the entropy, that is delta S, is equal to the heat given divided by temperature. Okay, write this down. Let me know if you're done.
Sir, could you scroll up?
Okay, you want to write this also? Okay, fine. Please write this also.
Done, sir.
Now you can write this.
Done, sir.
Okay, I have a question. Comment whether the following, whether the entropy increases or decreases in following. Okay, entropy decreases or increases in following. First example, ice melts to form water. Tell me what is happening. Ice melts to form water. Entropy is increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Yeah, entropy is increasing. Okay, so increasing. Wait a second. For example, you have H2, which is a gas. It is getting converted into 2 hydrogens. Now tell me, entropy is increasing or decreasing? What is happening here? Tell me. The entropy is increasing or decreasing? Don't know? Yes, Mariam, Hishma, Hotvika, what do you think? Increasing. Why do you say it is increasing? Why do you say it is increasing?
Because the bond is being broken and they're becoming two different atoms.
Yeah, 2 different atoms. Okay, so what you can think of this as, initially all the energy was inside one entity, that is H2. Now the energy is distributed and it is in 2 entities, that is 2 hydrogen atoms, 2 different hydrogen atoms. Okay, they don't have any association with themselves, with each other, right? If anything is in gaseous state, that means the atoms, they are not in, that is not influencing the other atom. Now initially all the energy was concentrated in one entity. Now after the breaking of bond, the energy is distributed into 2 different entities. That is why entropy is increasing. Liquid crystallizes to form solid. Obviously, energy is decreasing. Sorry, entropy is decreasing. Pardon. Fourth, you can write, if you have a reaction, let us say complex reaction, 2NaHCO3, which is a solid. And let me decompose this. If I break this down into Na2CO3 plus CO2 gas and plus H2O gas. Write this down. What do you think? What is happening? Entropy is increasing or decreasing, guys? Entropy is increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Huh?
Increasing.
Okay, entropy is increasing. Done? Tell me if you're done. Can I move on? Tell me, guys, fast.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Done, sir.
Done. Okay. Now we are going to say why anything happens, है ना? Why anything happens and what and how are we going to measure how and by how much change the everything. Whatever you see, if anything is happening, then you can define the entropy, whatever is happening, you can define that in terms of entropy and enthalpy. These are 2 things that we have done, entropy and enthalpy. Now we have H, that is enthalpy, and we have S, which is entropy, and I can write this S as Q divided by T, or rather this is delta S. Okay, this is delta S, which is equal to, we have delta H and we have delta S. Okay, we need enthalpy to be decreasing. That means the energy should be decreasing of a system, right? the energy, the enthalpy change should be decreasing, but the entropy should be increasing, right? The entropy should be increasing. And if I want to put enthalpy and entropy in one equation, if I want to put enthalpy and entropy in one equation, then what we have to do is we have to take entropy in terms or units of what? Enthalpy. Units of enthalpy, which is also the unit of heat. What is enthalpy? Enthalpy is the heat involved at constant pressure. So what I'm going to do, I can rather say the delta H should be there, and there should be T delta S, which is equal to what? Q, which is equal to Q. So at some temperature and some entropy, and there will be some enthalpy change. So these are the things that we can say about. Now I will say that the enthalpy should decrease and the entropy should increase. Yes or no? Any difficulty? Tell me. Any difficulty?
No, sir.
No problem. No problem here. No problem. Okay. Now we write another, what I will say is a thermodynamical function, a parameter, that is Gibbs free energy. That is Gibbs free energy. What is Gibbs free energy? See, if you have this is at 100 degrees Celsius, this is a iron metal, and this is, let us say, at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, 0 degrees Celsius. And if you combine these two with a rod, which is a conducting rod, then what will happen? Heat will be flowing. And maybe you can do what? Don't keep a rod, it will be very slow. And we will have one more item, which is rod. It will be also getting some energy. If I combine these two, then after some time, what I will say, both of them will have the same temperature, approximately 50 degrees Celsius, both of them. Yes or no? Tell me.
Sir.
And after that, nothing will happen. After 50 degrees Celsius, anything will happen? No, nothing will happen. We have achieved equilibrium. That means entropy also stopped. The change in entropy is equal to 0 when equilibrium has reached. Okay. So at equilibrium, the entropy changes 0. The entropy changes 0. So obviously now there is, you may say, sir, enthalpy change bhi to ho raha hai, sir, heat is also getting transferred. No, heat is getting transferred, but it is not due to enthalpy, it is due to the entropy case. Okay. It is due to the entropy case here. Okay. So one thing that we understood was the delta S is equal to 0 at equilibrium. Delta S, it is equal to what? 0 at equilibrium. Fine. Now, when I want to derive an equation and I want to say that free energy, what is free energy? Acha, if it has reached 50 degrees Celsius, both of them, then they still have some energy. Yes or no? They still have some temperature. They still have some energy. Correct? Yes or no, guys? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
They still have some energy. Okay, but they still have some energy, and that is the internal energy of the system. Now, whatever energy is present in the system, we can't use that energy, right? We can't use that energy. For example, if this 100 degrees Celsius, it was 100 degrees Celsius, and if we want to use this energy, what we have to do? We have to, one more example that I can say you, that you will understand is, this is a tawa. Okay, this is an iron pan. Now you are heating this iron pan. Okay, you are heating this iron pan and you are making some chapatis here. You are making some chapatis here. Now, till the time this is heated to, let us say, more than 25 degrees Celsius, which is the room temperature, till then only you can make chapatis. But if this iron pan is in 25 degrees Celsius, you can't make anything. You can't do any useful work from, a cold pan. But still this cold pan has some energy, and that energy is what? The U, internal energy. Now, when this pan is heated, for example, let us say 100 degrees Celsius. Now, from 100 degrees to 75 degrees Celsius, if the temperature is changing from if it is changing from 100 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius, there is a change of 75 degrees Celsius. Till then, you can make chapatis and you can do some work. So that is known as the free energy. Okay, the energy that can be used to do some kind of work. Okay, so that is free energy, and it is shown as, please write the next part, which is the Gibbs free energy. If you ever get an opportunity to learn advanced physics, you will also hear a term which is known as Helmholtz free energy. Okay, now Helmholtz free energy is when you don't have any volume change, or you don't have any constant pressure. Okay, so when volume is changing, for example, in chemistry, we always have the volume which is not fixed. We have open beakers, right, usually. So we use this term, which is Gibbs free energy. You don't have to worry about Gibbs free energy. Okay, now the only thing that is difference between Gibbs free energy and Helmholtz free energy is rather using enthalpy. The physicists, they used internal energy, but chemists, we use enthalpy here, because we always deal with a constant pressure of 1 atm. Now I can say that Gibbs free energy, delta G, okay, this is known as Gibbs free energy, is shown as G. Okay, so we can also write that free energy is the measure of useful work that can be done by a system. Useful work done that can be done by a system. Okay, now again, we are not very much interested in the free energy. We are more interested in the change in free energy. Okay, so we are interested in change in free energy. Okay, change in free energy. Okay, so what we can say, that the free energy will be high. The free energy will be high if the enthalpy is high. Yes or no? If something is very much heated, that means we can extract much useful work from it. Yes or no, guys? Tell me that. If something is heated, we can extract much useful work. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Delta G will be high if delta G is high, if H is high. And what about delta G is high if I will say that T delta S, if the T delta S is low. If the T delta S is low, please write this and tell me if you understand this part or not. If the T delta S is low, or rather I should say TS is low. See, if the entropy is low, then only it can go from low entropy to high entropy. Now, if entropy is maximum, nothing will happen. It will be in equilibrium, right? Nothing will happen and it will be in equilibrium. That is why we need the entropy low to do useful work. To do useful work, what do we need? We need the entropy to be low. And from here, I can write an equation, that is G is equal to H, since it has same type of relation, minus T delta S. Sorry, or minus TS right now. We are not talking about the delta. Okay, I hope all of you understand this equation. There is no derivation for you guys, even though it can be derived, but I think this will help you in understanding. Okay, this will help you in understanding. That is high energy. If you have high energy, then you can extract a lot of work. If there is high energy, the equilibrium is very far away. Now at equilibrium, you can't do anything. You can't extract any work from equilibrium. Okay, so you have to have a point. If you want the free energy to be high, then the point should be very far away from the equilibrium. That is why very high energy. And also, if the entropy is maximum, that means it is at equilibrium. The entropy is, if the entropy is maximum, the maximum entropy, at maximum entropy, there will be no useful work. So the entropy should be low. Entropy should be low. Okay, should be low. If we just talk about entropy and if we just talk about enthalpy, then this is the case. Now, when we combine this, then I can write that G is equal to, the free energy is equal to H minus TS. Okay, and as all of you know, that we are interested in the delta G, and all of this what I'm writing is for system. Okay, it is for system. Delta G is equal to delta H minus, at constant. Now, whatever equation we will be writing in terms of what? In terms of constant temperature, T delta S. Okay, at constant temperature. At constant temperature. Okay. Write this down. Let me know if you're done. Now, if we don't have constant temperature, then this will be equal to delta G. This will be equal to delta H minus, first we will write T delta S, and then we also have to write minus S delta T. Okay, if T is not constant. But please remember that we will be going to use this statement more often. Okay, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Oh, write this down. Let me know if you're done. Done, guys?
Done, sir.
All of you. Is there anyone who's still writing?
Yes, sir. 1 sec.
Done, sir.
Okay. Now let us write. Now what we will be doing, we will be using this equation, that is the delta G at constant temperature. Okay, at constant temperature, and how it is affecting the free energy, how it is going to affect the free energy. Okay, so please write. You can write effect of temperature. Effect of temperature on spontaneity. 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 Okay. So we have our equation. First of all, let us write the equation that will be guiding us. So delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Okay, T delta S. Now, for a spontaneous reaction, that means if something is happening automatically, then for a spontaneous reaction, the delta G should be negative. What does that mean? It means that if I talk about the delta G is negative, that means the free energy of product, minus the free energy of reactant, it should be negative. That means the free energy of product, it should be less than the free energy of reactant. That is why something will happen automatically. It is going from higher energy to lower energy. Okay, now let us write a few terms. That is delta H, there is delta S, okay, and then there is temperature. Okay, there is temperature. So these are the things which what we can say deriving any particular reaction. These are the things that will be deriving any particular reaction. Okay, wait a second, let me reshare my screen. We will be having temperature. Okay, temperature. Let us take a case and the reaction. What is going to happen? It will be spontaneous, non-spontaneous, or what? Okay. Now tell me, if I have delta H, let us say it is negative. Okay, delta H is negative. Delta S is also, let us say delta S is positive. Okay, delta S is positive. And what will be temperature? Wait a second. Let us not write temperature. Let us write here G. the delta G. So tell me, the delta G will be what, positive or negative? If we have negative delta H and positive delta S. So we have two terms here. So this term is also negative, this term is also negative. No, this term is negative and this term is positive. So both of them, they will become negative only. No? Yeah, tell me. I hope you can understand what I'm asking. You need to elaborate on that. Delta G will be positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. What do you think, Hishma? Positive or negative?
Negative.
Sarah, Samaira, all of you understand why it will be negative, or do I need to explain this?
No, sir.
No, no. Okay, fine. Delta G will be always negative, right? It doesn't matter whether, okay, now please remember the temperature will always be positive or it will always be positive. Okay, why? Because Kelvin. In Kelvin, we have absolute zero. We will never reach that point. So delta G will be negative, and if both are, this is negative and this is positive, that means enthalpy is also, so both of these are what, favorable conditions. So reaction will be spontaneous. Okay. Now, if I have delta H, which is negative, but here the delta S is also negative. Now tell me what will be happening?
Negative.
Negative. Why? Give a number, na. Give me a number for delta H, a negative number. Give me a negative number.
-3.
-3. Okay, give me a number for delta S.
-5.
-5. Okay, fine. So -3 minus -5, then you will get what? -3 minus temperature into -5. So you will be getting -3 plus 5T. And temperature will always be what? Temperature will always be positive only. So tell me now what will happen? This will be positive, na?
Yes, sir.
But it is only if this is low here. Okay, so you may have negative. Now let us say, for example, the temperature is very low. The temperature is going to be very low, and let us make these two equal. Okay, let us make these two equal. Okay, now if the temperature is going to be 0, then it is going to not change. Okay, now this enthalpy can also be -2T. Okay, so now it is going to depend on the temperature. If we both have negative of delta H and negative of delta S, then what I can say that delta G will be positive at high temperature. Okay, if the temperature is very high, that will multiply to the delta S and it will make the whole thing positive, and it will make the whole thing positive. Okay, but if I have, these are general cases. Okay, now spontaneous at, no, this will be non-spontaneous. No? If delta G is positive, this will be non-spontaneous. Non-spontaneous as T when high. So if I have case where delta H is negative, delta S is also negative, and delta G can be negative at low temperature. Okay, and here you can write spontaneous at low temperature. Okay, now let us suppose we have positive H and we have also positive S. Okay, so both are positive. Now if both are positive, then what I can say, if both are positive, then delta G will be, again it will be depending on the temperature, right? It will be depending on temperature, na?
Yes,
If both
sir.
are positive, and it is going to depend on temperature. Now if I want to get this negative part high, I have to keep the temperature high. So it will be negative at high temperature, at high temperature. Negative at high temperature. So this will be spontaneous at when T is high. So see, the enthalpy change is positive, but the whole reaction now it is getting derived. It is derived by what? It is derived by the entropy. This process is derived by entropy. You can also have, this is positive and this is also positive, and this can be positive at low temperature. And that is why this will be non-spontaneous at low temperature. Okay. The last point, if we have positive delta H and negative delta S, this will be, I mean, now this is what, this will be always positive. Okay, always positive at all temperature. The process will be non-spontaneous. The process will be non-spontaneous. Write this down, let me know if you're done.
Done, sir.
Okay, is there anyone who is writing? No. Now, I mean, the chapter is almost, it is almost over. And what I can do is, we have one more equation that you need to write, and that will be used in equilibrium mostly. Okay, it will be used in equilibrium. So write Gibbs energy change, Gibbs free energy, Gibbs free energy. Gibbs free energy and equilibrium. Okay, Gibbs free energy and equilibrium. Okay. Now there is a long derivation for this equation, but you can write it delta G, it is equal to delta G. It is equal to what? It is equal to the delta G naught, it is standard, the delta G naught plus RT ln Q. Okay, what is Q? Q is known as the reaction quotient, है ना? तो reaction quotient से आप लोग घबराइएगा नहीं, है ना? Don't get scared by this word. What is quotient? Quotient is just as you have mathematics. No? So for a reaction, if I say A plus B giving CC plus DD, then Q is given as the products upon reactant. So what is the product? C, but you will give a power of C, D, and then the whatever the stoichiometric coefficient of D is there, and then you will write A, the denominator A times B, D. Okay, so this is the reaction quotient. This is the reaction quotient. Now, since at equilibrium, delta G is equal to 0. Delta G is equal to 0. Therefore, we can write the delta G naught, delta G is equal to 0 and ln Q, and Q is written as K. Okay, at equilibrium, Q is written as K. You don't have to worry, K is the same thing here, but at equilibrium, the concentrations at equilibrium you will write. Delta G naught, it will be equal to what? Minus of RT ln K. Minus of RT ln K. Now, if time permits in equilibrium, I will try to derive this logically, not mathematically. Okay, as we derived now that G is equal to H minus TS. So we derived this logically with no mathematics. So if time permits, I will also derive this equation with a bit of logic, but in equilibrium chapter, not here. Okay, so please write this down. Acha, one thing, I am writing everything in terms of ln because it is easy for me, but I hope you know that this will be equal to negative of 2.303 RT log K. है ना? So ln is equal to log of base E, and when I write log, it is known as log of base 10. Okay, I write this down. Let me know if you're done. Furthermore, what I can write, you can also expand this. No, you can also expand this and write delta G naught is equal to what? Delta H naught minus T delta S naught, and this is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K. RT log K. Okay.
Done, sir.
Done, all of you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So thank you very much, guys. Let me just stop sharing.